My message to the losers: losers, look in the mirror. No? Well, maybe you should. Sorry. Well, that's my feeling. I want to talk about Whoopi Goldberg because I got so many texts this week because she attacked me the week before.
Sure.
So everybody was like, oh, Bill, I get you're enjoying the karma. Stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma. Sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious. And black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
Renowned comedian and writer Bill Maher has been challenging The View since they began spreading nonsense, and he continues to expose them to this day. In his latest show, he dropped a bombshell that left them furious. Unlike The View, Maher isn't afraid to speak his mind and stand by his beliefs. The real difference: those hosts need to take a long, hard look in the mirror. Before we dive into the video, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Not the whole show, the winners, the losers. My message to the losers: losers, look in the mirror. No? Well, maybe you should. Sorry. Well, that's my feeling. Losers, look in the mirror, okay? You know, I mean, for months, Democrats have been saying, how is this even close? And they're right, it wasn't. They could not conceive of a second Trump term, but they should have. When does America ever turn down second? I mean, come on.
The hosts of The View shifted uncomfortably upon hearing Maher's remarks and quickly began digging for dirt on him. However, their attacks fell flat as Maher fired back with his signature sharp humor. Watch how he responded when The View questioned how Trump could achieve his promises despite the millions of immigrants in the country.
Now they won. Now they have reality they have to deal with. You know, we'll see what they do. See if they live up to their word. Trump says he's going to deport 12 million people. How are you going to get 12 million people back into Mexico? And today Trump said, I'm way ahead of you. Why do you think I left so many holes in the wall?
With overwhelmingly conservative support, many praise Bill Maher for his optimism and unwavering stance on his beliefs. Frustrated with Democrats, he took direct shots at other late-night hosts, mocking their empty threats to leave the country, only to find the Mexico border closed. But that was just the beginning. Maher also exposed a major issue where The View and other left-leaning media failed to take accountability.
I saw Kamala was on Saturday Night Live, as the losing candidate often is. It worked so well for Hillary. Let's run that back. And it just made me think, I'm sure every single member of the Saturday Night Live cast was a Harris supporter. Well, what if one of them wasn't? What if one of those cast members was for Trump? Would they have felt comfortable saying so? I really don't think so. They would have had to keep it to themselves. That's not a good place for us to be. I remember when, and that happens even more on the left. And I remember when Elon Musk hosted, and this is well before he was a Trumper. This is 3 or 4 years. He was just the richest man in the world. And a number of the cast members on Saturday Night Live, they didn't want to deal with him. They didn't exactly boycott, but they made it plain. And I was thinking, really? You have Elon Musk on your show for a week. You could talk to one of the most interesting, brilliant people the world has ever produced, even about this issue that bothers you so much, that he's so rich and lots of people aren't. But no, you don't want to even deal with him. That's what I hate about the left. You're brats. You're brats and you're snobs, and people don't like it.
That's the propaganda they pushed, and if you need proof, just look at how The View's co-hosts fell silent when Bill Maher shared his opinion live on air. Remember, Sonny initially raised the issue, but Maher's sharp response turned the argument back on her, shocking everyone. The impact was so strong that the audience was left speechless, too stunned even to clap.
Israel 5 times. They've started 5 wars since they were given that land back. They could have chosen to turn that place into any place they wanted to, and they took a lot of money that they took from the international community and they spent it on bombs and guns and building tunnels. So if they need to be destroyed, how do we do that? It's a war. I don't know how to do that, and you don't know how to do that. I assume the rightly do. Of course, everybody is, but that's what happens in a war. Here's a way to stop that. Stop attacking Israel.
Whoopi and Joy look completely stunned, as if in total disbelief. What they don't realize is that Bill Maher is making a valid point. It's not about left or right, but about the right way to stop war. If you listen closely, he highlights how their administration is at fault, escalating the issue instead of resolving it. Yet, they criticize Trump for pushing for peace. Maher isn't afraid to call out hypocrisy, and his stance on free speech is just as bold. Now, take a moment to hear his thoughts on the matter.
Last week, Ira Glasser, former longtime head of the ACLU, talking about free speech. Whoopi Goldberg, who, by the way, I hope is still a friend, we can disagree with each other, should not be canceled or cut off her show, as much as I totally disagree with her crazy statement. Free speech, she should be there. She shouldn't get a timeout.
Not every single thing has to be for everybody.
Right.
We can have platforms that have stuff on them that not everyone on that platform or who consumes stuff on that platform enjoys. And The View is a particularly weird place to do a cancellation.
It's called The View?
It's called The View. It's not called The Facts.
Yeah, but
It's
isn't it interesting that it's called, I mean, I don't think they meant this when Barbara Walters invented it a long time ago, but it's The View.
Well,
That's the problem in America.
But
There is
clearly-
one view,
Right, and
one
that's clearly
true opinion, and everybody else can go sit in the corner.
that's correct.
Yes, they took the wrong stance and might as well have been sidelined. The left struggles to accept this truth because they only validate their own opinions, pushing them on their nonsensical shows. While open debate is fair, The View refuses to tolerate opposing views. Bill Maher pointed out where Whoopi was wrong, but unlike them, he never suggested she be silenced. Instead, he engaged in honest discussion, something The View avoids when faced with opinions that challenge their narrative.
Have a very different opinion. And the answer is not to make them sit in a corner for 2 weeks. That is insulting. It's so insulting to make a 65-year-old, I mean, the person at ABC News said, I've asked her to take time to reflect and learn about the impact of her comments. Reflect. How insulting for someone of her age, who's a sophisticated person. And at the impact of her comment. There is no impact. There aren't neo-Nazis waiting for the green light from the lady on The View to go out and do a new crystal mine.
So, and the whole point of free speech is we don't need free speech when we're right, when everyone agrees with us. We need free speech when we're wrong. We need free speech to make mistakes. We need free speech to say really unpopular things. And one of the reasons I'm always proud to come on this show, and I suspect you feel the same way, Catherine, is this is the only space left on television where people can speak freely and not be terrified, right?
Yes.
And you have,
Have you ever seen anything like this on The View? No, never. And your grandchildren probably never will. Just watch how The View treats anyone who dares to express even the slightest opinion that doesn't align with their carefully controlled narrative.
But his whole point is they didn't vote for him because of racism and misogyny. They voted for him because they felt like, I think the biggest common denominator in this election is people want a good life and ability to provide for their family.
Well,
And whether we agree or not with Donald Trump's plans,
Black people
they thought that he was
one of
reflective.
the poorest demographics in this country, but they voted for Kamala Harris.
But there was a split, and more of them voted for Donald Trump than had historically. I think that there's such a desire. If you really think the vast majority of this country voted because of racism and misogyny, you're missing it. Most of my family, a lot of my family doesn't have college degrees.
The stats are the stats.
But that's not, it doesn't say I'm white, I voted for Donald Trump because of racism. That's not what stat. What stat are you talking about?
Yes,
you can. There's a lot.
Hold on.
Let me just-
Calm down, everybody.
The big interruption is happening again. But have you noticed how a valid point gets dismissed just because it comes from a different perspective? For those unaware, this argument was originally raised by Bill Maher. Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content.